Hey Justin, how are you?
Hey Ram, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Happy pre-Thanksgiving. I don't think we're gonna do a what's on your mind next week. So a good time to talk about Thanksgiving and gratitude.
Indeed, yeah, I'm excited. I love Thanksgiving. It's actually my favorite holiday.
Say my
So
favorite holiday as well, by the way. It's like by a long shot. There's some that come
nice,
close,
nice.
but
What makes it your favorite holiday out of curiosity?
I think a few things. Like number one, our family gets together. I have siblings. Uh, we're distributed all over the place now, so it's hard for us to come together. Thanksgiving is one of those holidays where most of us come together, sometimes all. My brother and I, my younger brother and I play like video games. We used to play like Madden, NFL. It's like the only time of the year I play video game. We go nonstop. We go at it. We're highly competitive. He kicks my ass, by the way, because he maintains his skills. He's much younger than me. But towards the end, I start to get competitive. That's one. We might play, like chess or poker as a family, or my mom. She loves to cook. She loves to make pies, and I love to eat them. That's always good.
Nice.
My dad has a nice Scotch collection. He likes to enjoy that too. So it's fun. We just have a great time. Sharing, reminiscing stories. Uh, and I like the message of gratitude, I think, is key as well. We have a tradition where during Thanksgiving, we go around the table and we share what we're grateful for. I think that's part of it too. But how about yourself? Why do you like Thanksgiving so much?
Today we are live and my son is homesick. So we're getting a real view. My son just threw up. So I'm
Ooh.
grateful that I am not sick yet, but I do need to attend to him for a second. So maybe you'll
Go ahead.
uh you'll
I got
take
you
over the
covered.
live. You got me covered for a
I
second.
got you covered. Don't sweat it.
You know
Life
it's
comes at
live
you.
now though.
Yeah, life comes at you fast sometimes. It's funny when I'm sick. One of the moments where I feel gratitude is when I'm coming back into health. There's this J curve when you're feeling all crummy, you're in bed, feel miserable. But when I feel my strength come back, I try to savor that period of gratitude for as long as I can. And then when I'm healthy, like I am now, I think back to those times to remind myself uh, how lucky uh, we are to have health, for those of us to have good health. So Justin and I wanted to share gift giving ideas because I know Black Friday is coming and Cyber Monday, and it's hard to shop for people that have everything in our lives. I like to think I'm a good gift giver, but I'm a slow, deliberate gift giver. I think hard about it, and I find it and it clicks. I'm going to give you all a few ideas uh, for giving gifts for the mind, body, and soul. All right. So, one is this book by Will and Ariel Durant. It's like a power couple. It's called The Lessons of History. It's a very thin book, too. So, you'll get good adherence on it. All right. So, first off, Will and Ariel Durant, also another book called The History of Philosophy. Right. It's a good primer survey of philosophy out there. And so they wrote an encyclopedic volume about history. It would take up, one of those shelves, and they summarize history into this thin little book called The Lessons of History. Now think about how audacious of a task that is. And it's one of my favorites because the chapters cover everything that matters and everything that's important. And every sentence is dripping with insight and substance. Like the density, the rate of learning per unit of time is very high. And there are a lot of classic truths that they cover here. So, the table of contents you can see there. We've got history and the earth, biology and history, race and history, character and history, morals and history, religion and history, economics and history. they're covering, quite a bit of content. I'll read one or two sentences out of it. So this is from Biology and History. A few sentences I underlined. One is, the first biological lesson of history is that life is competition. And it goes on to elaborate that. There's a paragraph on that. The second is, the second biological lesson of history is that life is selection. They start to introduce, evolution. So anyway, it's a great book. History of Philosophy. It's also Story of Philosophy by Will Durant is also phenomenal as well. Other books on the investing side, I mentioned David Draymond. He wrote a book about contrarian non-consensus investing. That's a really good book too. What Works on Wall Street is fantastic if you're interested in investing. I put these two books more like in the advanced bucket. They're not like introductory material, I would say. I mean, they're accessible books, but you wouldn't want to start there is how I would look at it. This is Draymond's Contrarian Investment Strategies. I spoke with a hedge fund manager actually about this book, former hedge fund manager, last week. And he had been to Columbia Business School. He had read quite a few investment books, and their strategies were not performing. And then he read that book and they started performing. And a lot of it has to do with what's consensus and what expectations are. And that's something I spend a lot of time trying to understand. So that's a good book. Here's another one. This is Peter Attia's Outlive. It's a great book about longevity and wellness. Both Justin and I have read this book. We've incorporated quite a lot of the practices here. I interviewed Justin about his DEXA scan experience. I'm getting one myself. I'm doing advanced lipid testing. I did a CAC score. So that's a great book, and it introduces this idea of medicine 2.0. I think you should take control of your healthcare, should take control of your medicine. You should go to your doctor informed and say, look, I want to look at these options or procedures, or I don't want to look at certain options and procedures. So it's a great book. What else? So that's on the mind. Those are gifts for the mind. Gifts for the body. So I'll give you a low-cost gift and an expensive gift. Okay, low-cost gift is the foam roller, $15, high impact. You can tuck it away in the corner, and you can just do a roll on your back or on your legs and just iron out those knots. Foam roller gotta be one of the best sub $100 purchases out there. So foam roller is a great gift for someone that has everything. Here's another one. On the higher end side, Theragun. Okay, so there are different varieties of these, and they're competitors to the Theragun. Theragun is considered the best brand and the best product, and there are different variations. The most expensive is called the Theragun Elite. I think it's like $600. It's going to be on sale, I'm presume, during Black Friday. So that's a really great gift for someone that has everything as well. Battery seems to last forever. I don't remember charging. I've had it for like 2 years now. I keep using it. Battery hasn't died on me. Used it yesterday. I woke up with neck pain. I just rolled out of bed and I had literally a pain in my neck. I could not twist my neck to the left. I still have a little bit of that pain now. That's what happens, when you pass 40 years old. So those are some gift recommendations on for the body. What else? A DEXA scan. I would recommend that as a gift. It's going to cost somewhere between $100 to $250 or so out of pocket. It's probably in the lower end side of that. That's a great gift for someone that has everything. I doubt many people have had DEXA scans yet, and you can measure your bone density to test for any risk factors. You can measure visceral fat. There's some people that are skinny fat. They look like they're in great shape and in great health, but they might not be. And a DEXA scan can reveal that. It's a low radiation. And for those that are interested in the quantified self, that's a good gift. On that point, the Whoop device. So the Whoop device is something you put around your wrist, and like an Aura ring, which is one of their competitors, it measures heart rate variability and it measures the quality of your sleep. I found them both to be very accurate. I've had both. I've lost both. They're both very expensive. I'm really annoyed at that. My kids have destroyed them, as well as my AirPods, which I go through like TikToks, which is really annoying too. So, but those are great gifts also. I think the Whoop it's $400 if you buy it outright, or you can subscribe to it and you get real-time monitoring and data. You can work out with it. You can see, are you in a zone 2 cardio fitness zone, which is very important for longevity. And the Aura ring, and with this device, you can measure your sleep quality. I did a lot of experiments around sleep quality, and I measured my subjective sense of sleep quality against the score, and I found that they're very highly correlated. So I like those two devices, and it reminds the person that you're gifting them to about the importance of sleep and sleep quality, right? So sleep is the foundation for health and for learning and for mood. So I like those two. All right. So I think I hear Justin coming back in here. All right. Is the poop mopped up, or is that going to be handled later? Is it building a crust on the floor?
Yeah, it's only partially cleaned.
All right, good. Well, let me get you up to speed. I walked through gift recommendations for the mind, body, and soul. So I walked through some investing books. Will Durant, this is awesome, Justin. Like you might want to get this for your kids. Lessons of History. This is a book written by Will and Ariel Durant, and these two, it's like a power couple. They passed away, but they actually wrote an encyclopedic set on history, so they know what they're talking about. And they distill history into this short little book here, and it's organized by chapters like biology and economics and government and history and socialism and religion and moral. It's really It's high level thinking. The same power couple wrote the story of philosophy. They're very deep, considered, thoughtful thinkers. So
fascinating.
Really cool.
I love book recommendations.
So we went through a few of that. I shared my best recommendations for the body: foam roller, and then the Theragun. Like those are both great, and DexaScan. So those are, I think, what are so I didn't get, this is another great one, by the way, like a nice pair of Bose NC700 headphones are awesome. I lose AirPods like way too much, so I just use this now. The audio quality is fantastic, and it's got noise cancellation. But anyway, Justin, what do you like in terms of gift giving for the person
for the person that has everything? That is tough, and that's how I feel every time the holidays roll around for my wife, and it's really difficult. One thing that I got to get on it now. That's the challenge also when you do customized things, is the lead time jumps up on you. Ooh. I'm a big fan now of high quality printed photo books. So live a lot of digital life, right? And so you take photos all the time, and then you've got like this great digital photo album, and what the heck do you do with it? Maybe every once in a while you get those moments from Google Photos or Apple Photos, and they're like, oh, 5 years ago or something like that. And those are so touching, and I love them, but they're ephemeral, right? It's just like here and then gone. And so I have now adopted get a really high quality photo book. I personally have liked, I believe the producer is called Milk. It's integrated into the Apple Photo application. And so you can kind of like create the album there, send it off for printing, and it comes 4 to 6, maybe more weeks later. And so you have a really high quality product. It takes a while though, if you want to like put time into it and like organize the photos and add captions and things like that. So it's not for the faint of heart from a planning perspective. You can't just click buy and you're done.
That's a great idea. I like that very much. Sentimental. You can put on the coffee
Yeah.
table. Yeah.
It is. That's a big one I'm a fan of. I would say I have in the past tried to buy books for others and hit or miss,
Mhm.
only because some people have either already read it or they're like, I don't really like your book taste. And
Right,
so
right, right.
I don't like striking out much. That's a
Well, it's
problem
like,
I
hey,
have.
let me take 8 hours of your life, read this book. And this is weird, not an obligation, but like you're getting a book
Right.
with the presumption they're going to read it. Otherwise, why would you buy it? So books are tricky. I agree.
Books are tricky. I agree. I would say experiences. I'm big on the experience thing, and it's hard to pick a good one. A standby is always like a massage. Get somebody
Yeah,
a spa day. Like
great idea.
thinking of my wife here, right? So get her a spa
Yep.
day, get her some time away. I think that's a mind body kind of gift as well, right? A little recharge. So I'd say that's my go-to. And the tough thing for my wife is that I've done these things so many years now. It's like kind of got to change it up, and then you feel
Right.
pressure to like do something new. But if you do something new and it doesn't miss or doesn't hit, it's like I'm kind of like in a no-win situation. If you do the
You're in
same old,
the right.
it's you've done this before, and then if you go out on a limb and you miss, and it's like, oh, why didn't you get the gift that I expected?
So now you have to stack the gifts at this point,
Yeah,
right? You got to introduce like the
yeah.
second one, build a dopamine stack.
I was just gonna say it's dopamine stacking. Yeah, so that's my approach to gift giving. On the other hand, from a receiving standpoint, I could give you a long list
Really?
of things that I would love. Oh yeah, I'm a consumer. I'm an early adopter. I'm a consumer. I'm looking at that Humane AI pin. I'm thinking, ooh, would I try that out? Maybe. I don't know. There's
Huh.
I, Nike has adopted a really robust limited edition platform that is just launching new sneakers every day, it feels like. And so I get the emails on the app sneakers and I look at them and I'm like, oh, I want that special pair of Jordans. I
Ooh,
want that special
that's a
pair of
great
Jordans.
idea too. Now Nike has custom sneakers, and I got one of those once. And by the way, they're incredibly comfortable. So like a custom sneaker from Nike seems like a great idea.
Yeah, those are really good. Um, so I would go that end. And then, of course, I could use some more hats.
More hats. More hats. I wonder if I have more books and you have hats or vice versa. I might. I don't know. I might. I'm gonna go with
I
COVID.
you got me beat. I can just see in the
Okay.
background there. I myself have multiple bookcases filled with books. I buy my books in like 5 at a time, and I buy my hats one at a time. So that's probably my
That's
ratio.
that's the ratio. Here's another family gift, actually, an infrared sauna. Put it in the basement if you've got space. That was a COVID family item for us, although I'm the only one that uses it. My wife says, Rob, I know you're saying you're getting this for the family, but really it's for you. Like,
Yeah.
I
When it
can
has
just,
the warning that says you can't let kids under 12 and you have 3 of them, I think it's a
oh, yeah, yeah,
personal
yeah, yeah. Of course, well, they'll knock on the door anyway and come inside when it's warming up. But yeah, no, infrared sauna is awesome. It's very relaxed. It's very therapeutic. It does drive longevity. There's clinical trial data on that.
Do you have a cold plunge?
I've thought about building one. I have all the equipment. In fact, I got a chest freezer in my basement. I have all the equipment. I have the manual how to build it. And you know what happened is a month went by, and my wife and I went to Costco, and now it's full of frozen meat.
Yes.
So it got
Okay.
purposed into its core function. And we already have another freezer in the basement, which has less utilization now. So it's like, look, you got to strike when the iron's hot. You just got to go and you go. I'm not handy is the issue. Like you could give me a book and give me all these tools. I will destroy the chest freezer something will go wrong. So it's a limiting belief. I just don't have those skills. And but yeah, that would complete the cycle. I have it next to the infrared sauna. So, but infrared sauna bar is like a decent one, like a good brand, probably $5,000. Could get one lower, could get one higher. But it is a good, and if you've got the space, it's good for your longevity, good for relaxation. You can link it to your Bluetooth, play music, listen to a podcast. I use it more in the wintertime. Now and then my wife might join. We'll just chill out and hang out in that as well after the kids go to sleep. And it also helps get, to your point, better sleep because your body, when it starts cooling off, your core temperature drops.
Yeah, I am renovating a house, and I have mapped out where I'm putting a sauna and where I'm putting a plunge pool, like a cold plunge. So I'm excited about that, but I've got to wait, say 6 months or so.
You have to let us know when you do that, because I will ask you. I'll refrain asking now, like how and where, indoor, outdoor, underground. There's a lot of thinking around the cold plunge. What else? Other gifts. One that just came to mind is digital gifts. Very inexpensive and very helpful in a world where people are kind of living more remote. But if you go to the Apple phone, I know they have this feature. I figure Android probably does too, but it'll create a custom album for you by person or by location. So if you think about someone, you can push a button and auto collect the photos. You can put music on it, and it does a really good job, by the way. Like, I don't know how it does it. It takes just a couple of minutes, but the meaningfulness of that, the impact, the emotional satisfaction people get from that, and you can share it on WhatsApp, where like our family, our cousins are on WhatsApp or SMS easily. That is always a good crowd pleaser. The Apple Video.
Nice. That's a good move. I'm going to check that out. Maybe that'll help me make my analog version.
Oh, you're right. Actually, you're right. You could put that together, and then I mean, it'd be wonderful if you could just like send to, and then like the publishing company, and you're done, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good one. Yeah. So I'm wrapping up, I guess, just like next. I didn't get to answer why I love Thanksgiving.
Why you love Thanksgiving? Yeah, let's go back.
I think
Yeah.
you captured exactly that sentiment, which is family. I love the connection with family, the opportunity to spend Thanksgiving together. And I love the food. And I love that the actual holiday itself has only really kind of an internal meaning to your family. It's not really external about, sure, other people are celebrating it, but they're celebrating it together on their own. Whereas if you think about other holidays, it's like Christmas, Hanukkah, all those things are kind of like in your face. You got to give other people gifts. Great, it's fine. But I love that Thanksgiving is just very familial, right? It's like, and then your point about gratitude. I've actually started journaling a couple weeks ago. And
very cool.
The only thing I enjoy about it is that the first prompt is about gratitude. And it is helpful to just be grateful. And there's a lot of things that are negative in the world right now. There always are. So it's no different than any other moment in time, probably. Although certain things feel bigger, perhaps, depending on your point of view. But when you spend a little bit of time, just even a little bit of time expressing and thinking about what you're grateful for, it's tremendous mind shift. And so I think the fact that Thanksgiving is all about that is probably what makes it so meaningful to me. And I haven't fully connected that at that level. I'd always just said, oh, Thanksgiving's my favorite. But spending a little bit more time unpacking why, I would say expressing gratitude makes me feel good.
Yes.
It has a long effect, kind of just like you jump in that cold plunge and you have dopamine that has a long tail effect on your mood.
Yes.
I think the act of expressing gratitude for me is having the same thing. I'm sure smarter people have studied this, which is why people have gratitude journals and talk about gratitude. I'll explore more of that, and perhaps we'll come back to that discussion in the future. But I think that's really what creates those kind of like
I think
feelings.
you really nailed it. No, absolutely. Gratitude is powerful. I attempt each day to have focused thinking on gratitude because of what it means for your mindset. It makes you a better learner, makes you a better investor. Uh, it also is the opposite of entitlement, which has come up recently. If
That's
you
true.
are entitled, you don't have a sense of gratitude. So here's an interesting gratitude exercise I read about the other day. And the way it works is you ask yourself, what are you grateful for now that you couldn't have been grateful for now for 3 years ago? And what are you grateful for presently that you could not be in a position to be grateful for 20 years in the future? So I'll give an example. I'm grateful that we're not in lockdown and trapped in a house and can't see people. Okay. Life is a lot better than that. I also have three beautiful kids and they're under 5 years old and they're all healthy. Go on and on. And I'm also grateful that I can spend time with them when they're young because 20 years from now, they'll be in school. They won't be with me and I'll miss them.
That's a really powerful way to frame it as well, and go and kind of like another lens of gratitude. I love it.
And it focuses on the present, right? It requires a contrast with the past and the future, and then it brings you back to the present. And I agree, it's very powerful. Even now, just thinking about it, I feel a sense of gratitude. Can I put you on the spot?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Well, I won't copy you because that would be boring, but I will say that I have three dogs, and they're all young because I lost my last generation of dogs in the last 2 and 3 years ago. So I will say that what I'm grateful for today that I wouldn't have been able to be grateful for 3 years ago. That's the question, right? I'm grateful that I have three very young, healthy dogs that I get to have a lot of fun with. And it's always so sad seeing your beloved pets age, and the end of life care that goes with that is really tough. And so I'm grateful that I'm not in that place with my dogs. I love them so much and will never not love them. But the end of life care for dogs, it's just sad. It's just sad, and they don't live long enough. You have, if you're a pet owner and you have dogs, you're going to end up having multiple sets of dogs in your life, and they kind of like mark periods of time, and those periods of time are just never long enough. So that's kind of the 3 years back. 20 years in the future. Ooh, gosh, 20 years in the future. What will I be grateful for? So ask the question again, just so I make sure I
What are you
answer.
grateful for now that you won't be in a position to be grateful for 20 years in the future?
Okay. Oh man, your one spending time with kids, that's an awesome one. I would say, oh, okay. I won't be grateful in 20 years that I'm grateful for now. The ability to experiment with artificial intelligence. I think that in 20 years, things will either have gone off the rails. I can get a little dark when I think about that, or we'll be in a place that like it's integrated deeply into a lot of our lives. But this kind of moment of creativity and newness, if you will, of artificial intelligence is really fun. It's really exciting. It's really cool to see the things people are building on ChatGPT, and like ChatGPT 12 or 15, or we'll be at AGI, or we'll be beholden to some dark AI master.
I'm on the bull case. Justin's got a dystopian streak in there. I think we all do. Are you into horror movies at all, Justin? Do you watch like scary Halloween movies? Is there a correlation?
I hate horror movies. I used to love horror movies, and then I just kind of decided like I actually don't like that like feeling. My wife loves horror movies, so sometimes I'll break down. I'll say like, all right, I'll watch it, but I love dystopian stories. So favorite novel is probably The Road by Cormac McCarthy. I I must read on average 2 dystopian novels per year. So like I love
That's a lot.
those
You're like
series.
overweight by like I might read one dystopian novel in like 20 years or a decade, maybe, right? I don't know if I have even read one, but
Yeah. I probably read 20 to 30, maybe 30 to 40 books a year. So I'd say like
wow,
1 to 2 every year on average are dystopian.
gotcha. Gets in there. This
Yeah.
has been a lot of fun. Well, later today we're interviewing someone who took 5-MeO DMT and had a transcendental experience. I can't tell you how excited I am to speak with this person. We've interviewed a lot of really interesting people, but this is the most powerful psychedelic known to man. It comes from the venom of El Bufo frog. It's a kind of a secretion that is extracted off the back of the frog, and then it solidifies in the sunlight. So this is going to be fun. You're going to learn a lot.
It's going to be very fun. I'm really excited to have that conversation. I'm curious as to kind of the aftermath of one of those experiences. How does your view on life change? What do you do, if anything, differently? And then to that dark side, that are we in a simulation question that I also ponder a lot. I'm curious what his experience was.
Same, yeah, areas of inquiry for me as well. I really want to get into his subjective experience when he's in that transcendental state, and what insights has he gleaned, to your point, that changes his interpretation of reality or the meaning and place of his life in reality.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. Let's look forward to that. All right. Thanks, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes. Happy Thanksgiving, Rob. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank you.